Good afternoon. I'm Counselor Dee Knudsen, and I would like to call our May 19th informational to order. And first of all, we would all like to very much welcome our new city councilors, Counselor Greg Jamieson over here to my left, and Counselor Kenny Anderson Jr., and we'd like to give them a round of applause. And of course, we are very happy to have Counselor Vernon Brown with us again for 4 more years, and Counselor Bob Litz is going to join us for 4 years, and we are just as pleased to have them with us. And let's see, going forward here is Deborah Owen, the city clerk, will give us our regular weekly update, and thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Sioux Falls City Council members. Just to remind you that, there's a joint meeting today at 5 o'clock, and later this week, on May 21st, which is Wednesday, there'll be the Breakfast Club, which is, of course, a monthly meeting with the school board folks in county, and so that will be 7:30 at Leonardo's Cafe, just for a group discussion. And otherwise, other than just an exciting morning swearing in the new council members, that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And thank you, staff, for your very nicely done swearing in and preparations and reception today and so forth. And we all enjoyed the farewell welcome dinner last week, too. So thank you all for that, those efforts. Our next item on our agenda under the mayor's report is what was scheduled to be the permanent supportive housing opportunity, which I still think is a fabulous opportunity. It's an editorial comment, which I know will surprise all of you. And I apologize that I had to rush Randy Bartunik and Hugh Grogan so much last week because of our event. And again, because we have a joint meeting yet at 5 o'clock today, Councilor Brown, who's on the Homeless Advisory Board, had suggested to me earlier today that we might want to not have exactly the same presentations, exactly the same questions 2 times in a row here today. I'm proposing to you that we really hold off until 5 o'clock for that at least extensive conversation, but would any of you prefer to do otherwise? Because would you like to overrule me? I'm just the chairperson for 6 more weeks. Okay, we're going to wait and then we will spend a significant amount of time, quality time, with our experts in this area at 5 p.m., and I apologize for the inconvenience we have created for some of you in the audience who are here. Okay, going forward, I would like to run through our regular committee reports. So we did not do this last week, so hopefully we'll get some reports today. Audit Committee, Councilor Costello, could you help us out on that?
We have 2 resolutions that will be coming forward, and Deborah and Gary can jump in anywhere they like, but the first one is a recommendation from the Audit Committee to recommend hiring Ide Bailey for the 3-year audit, and then also a resolution to assign the oversight responsibility of the external audit to the Audit Committee. Okay. So both of those, I believe, will be coming first Monday in June?
June 2nd.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Costello. And I would like to say, and I can say this again during open discussion, but I appreciate the fact that Councilor Greg Jamieson is going to join the Audit Committee now in lieu of former Councilor Kevin Kavanaugh. And so you guys can decide among yourselves on your chair for the committee and so forth. Fiscal Committee, Councilor Costello, will you handle that one too?
Yes, we will meet June 2nd, and the only item on the agenda is the PDA cell phone stipend conversation.
All right. We look forward to a report from your committee next week on that topic. And again, there's no one else going on the Fiscal Committee from the new councilors, and so we'll just have that committee back to 3 councilors, at least for 6 more weeks, and then the new chairperson and vice chair can do as they wish, of course, on all of these decisions. Land Use Committee is, let's see, Councilor Litz could help me out on that one, I believe.
We don't have any report at this time.
Okay, thank you, and I am pleased to report that Councilor Greg Jamieson will be going on the Land Use Committee also, and so I'll just share that with you under committee structure here. And Public Services Committee, I'm very pleased to say that Councilor Kenny Anderson Jr. will be joining our committee, and that's a committee I serve on, and I really look forward to your participation with us on that committee, Kenny. Vernon, Councilor Brown, would you please give us a Public Services Committee report?
We continue to work on the daycare issues, and we'll meet again the second Monday in June, continue that discussion, and also review the forms of the election, since we've just passed that, and see if there are any updates or changes that need to be made there.
Okay. And I was wondering on that topic, which I think it was very good while the election rules, campaign rules that we changed fairly recently, and then our booklet and so forth, wondering would we, if we have a plan maybe to contact the other people who ran in that election for input, or should we just kind of call them informally, or what are your thoughts on that, Councilor Brown?
I would defer to the city clerk and see what thoughts she has on that.
Well, Deborah, any thoughts from you on that topic at this point?
Actually, I would welcome their input of anybody who, and all of the candidates who ran. I think they have, they're really kind of fresh from that whole experience and of having to comply with the financial rules and the newly adopted ordinance. So we'll email those, and if you will, anybody who wants to comment can come or email in. We'll work it that way unless you want to do something different.
Thank you. I kind of just sprung that on both of you, but I thought of that recently, as that I thought maybe those people who ran but are not here might have some helpful suggestions to us. So thank you, Deborah, for agreeing to follow up with those other candidates on that topic. And then just a couple other items. I'm very, again, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm very pleased with the representation that we are going to have, the council is going to have, on the very new event center task force that the mayor assembled very recently. And as you all know, Councilor Bob Litz and Councilor Pat Costello are representing us, and I am certain we will be represented very well. And with that, I would like both of them to just share a couple thoughts as far as how citizens can contact your task force and your listening sessions and so forth. Councilor Costello or Councilor Litz, do you want to start with that?
Well, very good. Thank you, Dee. Pat and I attended the first one over at Morningside Center the other day, and there were 4 citizens that were there putting their input into it. So, but nonetheless, there was a lot of good conversation that was set, and I would just encourage the public out there to attend the 4 other ones that we're going to have. Well, actually, there's 4 other ones that we're going to have, and the next 2 will be May 20th, and they're going to be held from 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock at the Keene Community Center. That's at 2801 South Valley View Road. And the one shortly after that will be from 6 till 8 p.m., and that's at the Oyate Community Center at Garfield Grade School, and that's 2421 West 15th Street. We need the public out there to give us their input and give us their ideas so we can spread a lot of information that has been gleaned on this project so far. And, we're always looking for some new ideas. Pat, do you have anything else? Yeah,
the public can send emails to eventscenter@siouxfalls.org, and that's events, plural, with an S. And we're going to be taking all the emails and suggestions there as well. The other, just on the original meeting, and I think what we're going to try to do with the future meetings as well, is we're trying to avoid the discussion of location and cost and funding. Those really are certainly important issues to deal with, but they're premature at this point. We want to focus more on what the community perceives the needs are and what they would like to see. So it's more of an information gathering session versus a brainstorming on where's it going to go, because until we have determined needs and wants, you really can't make a decision on where it's going to go or have any kind of idea how much it's going to cost. So that's what we're trying to stay focused on.
Thank you both for that information. And again, I am certain that will be a very time-consuming project, and I know that I'm very appreciative that you both are willing to spend your free time when you have none on that important project. Also, regarding an item tonight on the agenda, very just a regular item. It's a resolution to appoint Councilor Greg Jameson to the UDC, which again, as you all know, stands for Urbanized Development Commission. And Greg, I appreciate the fact that you are willing to serve on that commission. We're moving his father, former Councilor Bob Jameson, off that and putting on a Councilor Greg Jameson. So thank you. And I know they have a meeting yet this week, so that's why I was kind of anxious just to get that done formally. Councilor Stagers.
Yeah, Dee, mentioning the UDC and, we'll be approving Greg to be on the UDC tonight. But what the information I have here for item number 66, it has down a resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards. And it only has down Greg's name, and are we going to have more names, or?
Let's see.
I see
Yes, the mayor.
67.
Yes, we did. I don't have my agenda item right here in front of me, but even though my agenda is in front of me, but we do have a list. We do have
For
we
67.
did receive a packet of quite a few names from the mayor for different boards and commissions. And why don't I just pass this down to
Okay.
you? And so then the UDC was just a separate one from us, from the council. I might have confused you on that. You follow what I'm saying?
Well, I do, but I see these names that you've given me here. They look like they're for item 67.
Am I confused?
Maybe I'm,
Deborah, do you want to help me on that?
I believe, Counselor, if I'm understanding you correctly, is the inquiry that item number 66 is only appointing one person? And if that's the question, yes, that's correct.
oh, we're just appointing one person.
Just one person to
Yeah,
UDC.
we don't have any, excuse me, Deborah.
Okay, so in
All of the other members who are already currently serving with UDC will continue to serve.
well, it says appointment of members to certain citizen boards.
Okay, so
So-
yeah, so it should be.
It is
yeah.
in the plural and should not
So
be.
it's just,
Okay, yes.
we're
It's
just,
just
that one
one.
resolution for Greg. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
and thank
got
you, and
it.
I'm sorry I didn't make that
Okay, thanks.
clear myself. So, yes, there aren't any other vacancies on CCOG or CCOG or UDC, and so that's why we're just replacing the one person there. So
Thanks,
thank
Dee.
you for your question. Let's see, then a couple other items I just wanted to remind you, and I think it's because I did it myself this afternoon, is that the Lewis and Clark annual banquet, again, is May 29th at 5:45 at Ramkota, and I assume that most of you have RSVP'd by now, but I know they'd like to hear from us later this week, if possible, and that's, again, May 29th. And then, right as I was walking into work today, I received a nice invitation for all of us, and this is way in October, but you might want to make a note of it, and then I'm sure we'll get an email when it gets way closer to the time. But with our busy schedules, the South Dakota Housing Association has, South Dakota Multi-Housing Association has asked us to just, man and woman, a booth at their trade show, their annual trade show on Thursday, October 9th. That's the second Thursday in October from 4:30 to 7 p.m. And so we'll, of course, make that very public information. And when it gets closer to October, we'll see who can be there at what time and so forth. But I just wanted to mention that. And then since I'm your representative, or the mayor's representative anyway, to the Sports Authority, we just have quarterly meetings. And then tomorrow, however, is our annual meeting. And so I wanted to tell you that, but more importantly, I wanted to tell you that at the arena today at 3 o'clock, there was an announcement about a new, a wonderful opportunity in our city, and it's called the Hoops Fest. It's over Thanksgiving weekend on November 29th and November 30th. And we are partnering, the Sports Authority, Sioux Falls Sports Authority, is partnering with the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. And we are going to have lots of basketball that weekend. And we'll be needing lots of volunteers to help us, too. And I'll probably be volunteering some of you when it gets closer to Thanksgiving. So think basketball once in a while on that, too. And if you ever have any questions for me on Sports Authority, let me know. Again, we're making good progress. And sometime in the near future, like June, I'd like to have our Executive Director, Mike Sullivan, come in and get to know you a little bit more and let you ask him whatever you have. And then a few weeks ago, Deborah Owen reminded us that it's time for the City Council to appoint a districting commission, with the population growth in our community. And that is just it has to be done every once in a while, it has to be redone every once in a while. And we asked for people to step forward and to just volunteer to serve on this. And again, we'd like to have a bipartisan look to that district commission, and ideally I'd like to have I said then and still would say I'd like to have really strong guy and strong woman. And again, this is a fairly time-consuming project. I visited with Doug Hayek this morning, and he said it took really quite a bit of time. But anyway, at this point, I just want to give you all an update on the nominees. And these aren't the final selections yet, but let's finish this up by the end of May. I'm not trying to rush anyone, but we've been talking about this a little while now. So by the end of May, if any of you have any suggestions of people that might like to serve on the districting commission, would you submit their names to Deborah and me, and then we can vote and whatever we need to do to get down to 4 people. And right now, I know that I have found 2 nominees, and they happen to both be Republicans for whatever that's worth. And one is Vance Goldammer is willing to serve, and Joel Rosenthal is willing to serve. Neither one of them is lusting after this position. They don't care if they are replaced with a Republican woman. But anyway, in all seriousness, I'm just saying I have found 2 names, and maybe some of you better help me out a little bit. And then former Councilor Kavanaugh, I had asked last Monday. I had asked former Councilor Darren Smith, and now former Councilor Kevin Kavanaugh, if they had any ideas of people that might be willing to serve from the other major political party. And former Councilor Kavanaugh emailed me late Saturday night and indicated that his 2 suggestions were Elaine Roberts and Andy Howes, and obviously they would both do, I'm sure, an excellent job. And so I just want to tell you that right now we have 4 people, but we are still willing to look at other names. Anyway, end of May, we're going to finish this up. Okay? Let's see. I know that is almost the end of my list of odds and ends, important odds and ends. Would any of you have anything else today before we adjourn, before our joint meeting later? Mm-hmm. Yes, Councilor Costello.
We were talking earlier about the UDC, and there is a meeting on May 22nd, which is Thursday at 4 o'clock, and I am a member and I have a conflict, so I'm looking for a volunteer that might be willing to step in for me on Thursday's meeting.
Let's see, and I have my notes at home on who are the alternates on UDC.
I couldn't remember, that's why.
Okay, Councilor Benega are, okay.
Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to step in and as an alternate?
Who all's on? Kermit, Bob, myself, and now Greg.
Bob Jamieson was, so.
Oh, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is Kenny Anderson, or Councilor Anderson is going to check his calendar, okay. And if not, I may be able to do that also. And if not, we'll just see if a staff person can go and represent us, even though, can't vote, but.
I've got the packet, and maybe what I'll do is I'll leave it here with Deborah, and whoever can go can maybe pick up the packet.
All right. And Councilor Anderson, will you just get back to Deborah on that later when you've checked your calendar, and we'll go from there? Uh-huh.
I also have another question. Gary, do you know, I know the arena is under, isn't it, planning and Mike Cooper's jurisdiction, but I'm wondering what is happening. I asked about a month or month and a half ago about the RFP for the management of the arena, because I believe that current contract expires in December, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Are we anywhere closer to getting an RFP out? Because that's going to take some time to evaluate, I imagine.
It is being worked on.
Okay. Do you know a date specific and when it would?
I don't.
Would we try to have something out by July, do you think, or?
I really would suggest you ask Mike Cooper or perhaps the mayor. I don't know myself.
Okay. Councilor Litz.
I as well would be very interested in that, because I don't want to get us up until November and then have to scramble to make our minds up about it. I'd like to be able to take my time and examine all the evidence that comes our way with this very, very important management question.
I think we kind of learned our lesson last time around, and we don't want to repeat ourselves.
Councilor Brown.
I agree. I've had communication with organizations wondering where that's at, so I think the council probably needs to be updated on a timeline for that.
All right. Why don't we ask at our next informational for an update from the administration on that topic? Would that be okay? All right. Would there be any other questions or concerns or comments? Anyone? Again, we welcome our new counselors. And am I forgetting anything, Deborah, that you can think of? Okay, then I'm going to adjourn our meeting. I would like to tell you that there's we were invited to that ribbon cutting at 10th and Phillips for that old Kresge building. Again, that was one of our facade easement programs. Or in that program, facade easements. But anyway, that open house is ribbon cutting is at 4:30 at 10th and Phillips, if any of you want to walk down there on this beautiful day. And I'm going to adjourn our meeting, and I look forward to seeing you at our joint meeting, which will start promptly at 5 p.m.